Hello guys, making a new video, just drawing some digital drawing. Make a new layer quick. And I think I'm gonna do the line art in somewhat of a green. Yeah, I think we'll do something like that. I'll hide all the menus so you can see what I'm drawing better. I kind of chose the green, so then when I color this, it just sort of adds a unique effect with the color added instead of just black line work. Try to zoom in as much as I can so you guys can see it. Thinking of some sort of helmet design. I have sort of an idea of what I want to draw, but it's not 100% planned out right away. Kind of like to see how it goes as I draw along. So this is the helmet of the character. Oops. Have that neck going back. And thinking of the proportion from his helmet. And I want his back to arch a bit. And think of the collarbone. Shoulder pad. other back shoulder. And this hand. And I'm using the armor of the glove to figure out where his fingers would go. And I'm also using the detail of the glove to measure out and create the hand. So yeah, something like that. And then, so for his back, using the detail of his armor to draw his back out. And I'm sort of placing it in a way where I can measure everything out as well. So for this back arm, I find the elbow first, and that kind of sets the rest of the arm up for me. The armor on the forearm. And the important thing for armor is making sure that it sits on the arm, and I like to draw some sort of strap. Same with a backpack or a chest piece. And for the clothing, I'm thinking of how the clothing will pinch in the armpits around this area, and then it goes outward in a fan-in motion. And then bringing this hand back in space will give me the proportion for that backhand. And same thing. I'm using that armored plating on the hands to give me the hands. Sort of using it to find proportion. And since the armor, the plating on the glove is like a square, it helps place that in perspective. And just like before, I'm using the detail around his waist to sort of like gradually figure out where the placement of it will be. So I'm thinking his leg will come out there, so 2 heads down. This is where his knee will about be. And that back leg will come out from here. So I'm thinking pants will spread out to there. And then measuring back, shoe will be about here. Back foot. And since this foot is back, I want this one to go down a little bit, and it'll be shorter. So to find the measurement of the back foot, I'm going to act as if I'm straightening this leg, and then from that point where the bottom of the foot would be straight, I pull that back and then in space towards a center vanishing point, and that'll give me where that back foot would be. Yeah, so something like that. And now this is our ground. And we'll just start another character, sort of measuring off the helmet of the first. And so I want this one to be closer. I think a really big factor in improving and drawing is to sort of have no fear with trying different drawings or going out of your comfort zone. And I think if you're never afraid to keep trying new things, then you'll always keep improving. And not to say you have to try new things, because you'll still get better from just the repetition alone. Even if you draw the same thing over and over, you're still gonna improve. But I find a lot of times there's something that I really want to draw, but I'm always thinking or kind of doubting that I could pull it off. Where in reality, I probably could if I just gave it a try. So that's sort of something that I'm working on every time that I draw. Is if I get an idea in my head, just go for it, and if I fail, I fail. Alright, so I got the front of that helmet pretty much figured out. And now I want to gradually move back. And the helmet is designed to fit on the head, so drawing a helmet is pretty much the same as drawing a head. So now we just need to figure out how I'll get from the front of the helmet towards the back. And just like anything that's depth related, I'm just taking the measurement of this, pulling it back towards our vanishing point, somewhere in the center of the page. Okay. So we got towards the back of the head, and now I'm just figuring out more of below the jaw, what's there. There, we got the head now. And now the neck, something in the front plane of his head is there, and the neck be about here and a half a head. So I basically want the neck to be pulled back and down off the head, which can be a little rough for me to figure out where it is at this angle. We'll do something like this. Have the shoulder very propped upward. And so we figure out the neck is about there. So then I'm placing armor that almost symbolizes the collarbones. Kind of like Midson anatomy with the mech or robotic side of the character's armor. And I'm using that to get further through the character. So the shoulder, come up about 2 heads crossed. And that other shoulder we can have different. It's a little bit flatter. Collarbone. Pulling it through and back to where the shoulder. And then, since this character is over here, we have a more extreme perspective. I'm going to pull him down towards that direction. So the neck. Gotta figure out how the arm I want it to be. While still trying to keep the anatomy of the character very human-like. And right now I'm sort of thinking how I can get further down the character by using the detail, while also expressing how the perspective is and how I want the perspective to be. So yeah, I think something like that. he's sitting on a floor that's much lower. So yeah, just kind of messing around with the ground floor and then environments of these characters. And I think we'll add a character over here. So in my head, I kind of get like, or come up with a glimpse of how I want the character. So like for this character, the idea kind of starts with some sort of space-like helmet, and then that starts the rest of the idea for the character. And then everything else is sort of a reaction as I go. And by reaction, I kind of mean like adapting to the drawing as I go. So these first two characters that we did prior, they sort of influence like the mechanical part of this design. And then I like to add a variety as I go. So maybe add in a animal-like character or just something like that. So the drawing gets much easier the further it is in the process, especially towards the end. Then I have like the whole environment already put together. There's not much like guessing or freehanding the perspective. Even if it's very warped, the entirety of the idea is kind of already figured out. So. Just like these characters. Gonna pull that neck back a bit. Just makes it a little more dynamic. And now I'm using the detail to figure out that collarbone or that upper chest area. And I got that other shoulder figured out, so I'll just put that in. Wrist, and then wrist on the other hand. So sometimes I'll kind of like sort of like prep the character out by placing the shoulder and the wrist before the rest of the body goes in. So add a little variety on the character's shape. And then now using the detail to figure out the anatomy and the proportion. And now when I do the clothing, the folds, I know exactly where I'm going. And now, since this character, he's a little above our horizon, and now his lower body is going below the horizon, so I'm going to curve his lower half towards the vanishing point, lower page. A lot of the drawings, I'll start with a fisheye sort of thought with the warped perspective, but then I'll kind of like bend the grid a little and shift it however is fun at the time. We'll give him pretty similar gloves to the other characters. And repeating a lot of elements of the characters before, like color or equipment, can sort of like bring the whole environment of characters together. Make it a little believable that they're all in the same environment. So that front leg, barely see. I think we'll bend the back leg too. This is some sort of rabbit-like character. I really like drawing a really skinny muzzle on animals and then really wide sheets with the fur. It kind of gives them a lot of character. It's kind of fun to experiment with different eye shapes too. I find that I like the look of smaller eyes, and I think genuinely it's a lot safer of a move to do small eyes. It just looks more naturally, even if it's like very cartoony, very small. It still has a more natural look than really are large eyes, in my opinion. But both are a lot of fun to experiment with. So this is kind of what I was saying before, how the further along you get in a drawing, the easier things become to draw, because like I no longer have to draw this back leg of the structure. Since it's so far back, it's hidden. Sometimes, personally, I think that can be a little boring, so I tend to do more warped perspective, because you can fit more things in an area without just drawing layers. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, and I think this is this way of drawing, where I'm just adapting to the line I place rather than trying to force something out. I find it to be more enjoyable. It's less predictable. And I like not knowing how my drawing will end up. And to make the perspective work on something, when I'm using lines that aren't completely straight or didn't turn out how I necessarily want, is just basing the perspective off of that line. So if I get a really curved line, let's do like this, then I would just place the window on the curved surface. So really in that way, there aren't any mistakes. And it kind of just makes it so there's a solution to every misdrawn line, and that's sort of just a thing from drawing with pen or any permanent medium. Because with pen you really only have one chance or one go to make the drawing work, so if you mess up, sort of have to figure out a way to still make it work how you want it to. And so the ends, the building be around there. And we're converging down towards the vanishing point below. And then sort of, I use the detail and the more complex, smaller and thinner lines of this building to split up the characters as well. And we got this triangle of characters, another 3. And I think I'll try something that I'm less comfortable with. And that's starting with the hand. I think interesting thing that I started doing recently is instead of looking at a drawing as if it was good or bad, is kind of just, while I was drawing that, was I drawing well? And or if I was drawing and giving my best, and that's kind of, I think that's more of a success than if a single drawing did well. Because if I looked at this drawing in just a week, I would start to notice all the things that I did bad or didn't like. So I'd rather look at it as, you know, just did I draw well on that drawing? And then focusing on each drawing and just trying to draw well. You know, just trying to draw my best on each one of them. And also having fun and enjoying the drawing, I think, is really important with how a piece turns out. So yeah, I'm not used to drawing with the hand first, but I'll try to use that to measure the rest. So we got the form, and it's coming back into perspective. Trying to make the fabric look as believable as possible. And then from the shoulder, this is like the bicep area. Shoulder, let's sit above. And then if we use this for the collarbone, then we go back. Back and up. And then out. Sort of come up with something. Yeah, so this kind of goes along the lines of what I was talking about earlier without having fear. When you have an idea in your head, you sort of doubt your capabilities of doing it. So I really wanted to pull off the foreshortened hands. And I mean, if all else goes wrong, it's at least somewhere to start for the next time you want to draw something similar. Maybe. Be much easier to find that back on. And now I'm just using the detail to figure out the lower half of the character. I think I'm pretty happy with how that turned out so far. And I think we'll bridge the gap between this. These two characters. We'll add a fish. Sometimes I'll move between different characters or ideas. Just kind of fill in different parts of the drawing. And then create the overall environment. instead of staying in one spot. And that kind of lets me go back to those areas and add something close to the other characters or in front. Kind of just leaves that area open to go back later. So just like earlier, how I was doing detail on the armor, to find out how to go through the different sections of the character, I'm doing the same thing, but more with the anatomy of this dragon. So yeah, now that we got things more figured out, I can finish this character. Repeat the same armor as the back arm, front arm, sorry. Just kind of placing down the background a bit. Usually I just kind of go in and really wing it and just do whatever. But I kind of have an idea of how I want it to be, so. Yeah, so, and what I talked about before with the buildings, or like any warp's perspective, is I follow the line that I draw and not necessarily how it should be. So like if this line, it's not completely straight, like how a building would be. But I'm following the line that's not straight, or more of following the Ingrid's line. And I do that to keep everything more consistent, and it sort of cleans up. If I drew this same building but tried to correct the lines, I don't think I'd be able to draw it in one go. And it wouldn't look as consistent. Where drawing this way, I feel like it looks like the building is more put together because there's some sort of system behind it and consistency. And sometimes an imperfect line looks more natural than a perfect line. So I drew the bottom curve with the curve of the top. And so we curve this building down. And then the windows, I'm following the sides of the building and the overall shape of the building. And we can do some sort of billboard. And that would just follow the shape of the building as well. Adds a little variety, and it saves us a bit less windows. And we'll do the same thing with this building. Following the curve of my initial line. And then since I have the space over here, I can add more detail. And it sort of sets up for the next part of the build. Draw a few structures on the top of the building. I'm just gonna kind of move around so I don't get too stale on the idea. I'm really sorry guys that this turned into a drawing windows video, but I promise I did not plan on drawing buildings. Come watch me draw buildings for 40 minutes. add some mist throughout the city. It'll work really well once I color this, and I'll add a big color break from the rest of the characters, and it also adds some depth and movement to the drawing. And a hard thing when I color this will be finding where all the mist is, though. Sometimes it can get a little lost in the drawing. So yeah, now I kind of add some direction throughout the drawing. Alright, so the final lap of windows. Start adding billboards everywhere so I don't have to draw the rest of the windows. And now they'll curve downward. These buildings will take way less time since we got a lot going on in front of them. That is where perspective has our back. then you don't have to draw everything. A great way to express perspective is to do lines or cross sections that follow the shape or the grid that you're going for, and that kind of sort of like contour on how you would crosshatch. The same idea. The finale of Windows is coming. And another way to express perspective is having layers. It sort of creates depth. And a good way to add layers is to go and add all the different, like to go up, down, across, and that will give you a lot of dimension as well. Oh my god, that line was horrible. Yeah, my arm and shoulder are so tired right now. My arm is definitely not used to. I'm drawing on like a slanted surface. I'm a lot more used to just drawing on a table, so having my arm sit up for hours. Make sure to curve these downward. Follow the building. Yeah, I think that works. Alright, so that's gonna end the long video. Well, it's not too bad, hour and a half. I would suggest watching it in parts. Well, it's probably too late because you guys are at the end of the video. Thank you if you made it this far through the window pane. Oh yeah, so this is the sketch of this drawing, and next video I'll probably color it. If I don't color this one, then I'll start on another drawing. So yeah, thanks for watching. You can subscribe if you like it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.